Alright, so, like, when it comes to, like, at least the first couple verses alone, you know, he's telling them that everyone's going to get kicked out, and actually, that kind of goes along with the current system too, because I know several people who have actual, you know, biblical truths and beliefs, and whenever they started to question or not even necessarily question, but like ask questions that were legitimate, and say, you know, this right here is incorrect, this traditional teaching is incorrect, the leadership of those churches basically kicked them out. And what's interesting too is that this is contrary to popular belief. Jesus was actually the epitome of a heretic, because he was going completely against the traditional teachings. And so because of that, because they're man-made teachings, and since Jesus was teaching against that and teaching something completely what seemed to them was contrary, he was kicked out and basically killed eventually for calling everything out and basically being that division. He, like I said, he went against everything that was taught in the current church system, or in what was it back then? It was the synagogues. Yeah, that's what you just said. Yeah. But and you can clearly see, now again, the church I consider growing up in, like spiritually, after kind of the Lord just woke me up and, you know, I went through a process, whatever, they were awakened. You know, they saw, even though, you know, every church you go to, whether it's a fellowship that doesn't meet in a building or a fellowship that does meet in a building, they're gonna have beliefs or teachings that are incorrect. I'm not saying every single thing in a place is going to be correct. It's not going to happen, because we're human. You know, we're still growing, and the Father and Holy Spirit is still teaching us certain things and correcting us. But the ones who don't, and, you know, it's the really religious ones, and, you know, and it's the majority, their spiritual eyes and ears are closed. They don't have that sight, which causes them to take everything literally. Now, I'm not saying seeing things in a literal sense is incorrect, because I believe there's 4 different ways of interpreting the Bible. One is a literal sense, another is a metaphorical sense, and I forget what the other 2 are. I know that, like, to me, metaphor and symbolism is the same, but I know they're different at the same time. But still, you know, being able to see those figures of speech with that, which actually the disciples commented later in this chapter regarding. But whenever people actually have their spiritual eyes and spiritual ears open, they're able to see the deeper meanings. And I actually go into this later in there.